Making his 6th All-Star Game appearance, the Spurs have now had an All-Star each of the last 20 seasons, which breaks a tie with the Lakers for the longest streak since the NBA-ABA merger. The Lakers' 19-season streak went from 1996-97 through 15-16. But now it's over. Oh, sorry, I got a little bit too excited. Tuesday, after the reserves were named, we saw guys like Lou Williams, who wasn't selected, take to Twitter. He expressed his disappointment. Russ stuck up for his guy, Paul George, who also did not get in. It's inevitable that we have this conversation, Brian, but to you, who is the biggest snub in this All-Star game?
You know, I would have liked to have seen Goran Dragic get in for the Miami Heat, because I think the Heat have been one of the best stories of the first half. They've had injuries, they've overcome. Nobody on that team's been an All-Star, and this should almost have been a team award. I think even though Dwayne Casey's probably going to be the All-Star coach, I think Eric Spoelstra has been the best coach in the Eastern Conference so far, and I would have liked to have seen the voters reward them with Dragic. And, you know, John Wall got in, which was great.
Okay.
Wall's not having the greatest season.
So you would have taken Wall off,
No
Dragic
offense
in.
to John Wall. I love you, John.
You don't have
None
to
taken.
apologize.
None taken.
I would have liked to have seen Dragic make the team.
Because that's the key. If you're going to take one off, you got to take one off, put one back on. So
You made
John
it up
Wall
to
off.
John. We took him on our squads. It's all good.
Well, John
There
has
you
got
go.
a beautiful contract, so he could have taken a beautiful vacation, I'm sure.
That's a great
had the
point.
weekend off.
Snubs for you, Paul?
I'm kind of torn between Paul George and Chris Paul.
Okay.
I mean, when you look at the impact Chris Paul has had with the Houston Rockets, win with Harden, these two guys, they've only lost, 2 games when they've played together. Paul George, the other guy, is leading the league in steals. He's putting up terrific stats. I'm just kind of torn.
Who would you take off then?
If I had to take off
But that's
somebody,
2 guys, Paul George and CP.
Well, I'm only going to say Paul George.
Okay.
I think he's a little more deserving than probably Draymond Green this year. I mean,
Now Draymond's
Paul,
going to tweet at you.
he's a forward, so I mean, I think Paul deserves to be on there. And I don't know if this is going to play into his decision-making after the season, like, well, maybe I should move on from OKC. I'm not an all-star
Back to the
here.
East?
And maybe go somewhere else where he can be the guy, get on and off the court.
Is it that important,
notoriety. I mean, guys, they won't say it publicly, but when you don't make that all-star and you're in the prime of your career, you feel it. Trust me, you feel it.
And, it was a little bit easier to make the All-Star team in the West this year because a couple of guys were hurt. Chris Paul didn't make it because he was hurt.
Yeah, but Chris
Kawhi
Paul,
Leonard.
he is not hurting him as much because he understands.
Right.
He would be in if he was healthy.
So was Kawhi Leonard, though. So
But look,
Kawhi Leonard.
That's where I was going. With Kawhi Leonard in, clearly some players going to be out.
Right.
But for CP3, remember, he was out last year also.
Injuries, though.
And he missed it this year. So he's going to be motivated by that.
Who do you got?
For me, I would add Paul George and take off Karl Anthony Towns.
Woo!
Wow.
I sure would. I'm a huge fan
no
of the
wonder
big
our
cat.
all-star team wins.
But Paul George has just been terrific for OKC. And in the East, I got another one.
Oh, you're doing okay.
I've thought long and hard about this. I wanted to reward Al Horford, but I would have gave that spot to Andre Drummond.
Oh, he gonna wait till Drummond get 30 and 20 tonight.
I mean, he did have an amazing
Drummond
evening.
on there. You
I mean,
see
he leading
that?
the league in
Hey,
rebounds.
he talking about I'm bandwagon.
You know what? No. In all
Detroit
fairness,
bandwagon
this does go back because not only does he say that now, but didn't you have him as a starter?
Correct. I
when
was
you-
trying.
yeah.
I was trying. That's why I said I was trying to reward winning.
Right,
But
right.
the Boston Celtics have dropped 4 in a row. He's averaging 13 and 7. And what the coaches seem to have done in the West, they rewarded the number 1 option. So Dame Lillard will get in probably before Paul George or CP3 because he's the number 1 option on this team.
it's interesting with Drummond. The Pistons haven't been playing great for the last month either, and that I think affected.
hurts.
I think if they had played a little bit better over the last, they were a huge success story early in the season. If they had kept that up, Drummond would have been on the team for sure.
Yeah, well, no doubt.
To make it for your first time, you got to have a compelling case, and that's why Karl Towns. The Wolves have been great lately. He's been really good at both ends of the court. You got to have a
He
compelling
leads
case.
the league in double-doubles. Rebounding double-doubles, at least I know.
He does.
I mean, he deserves it.
But we did a distinction here where that we should challenge everyone else. People always say that a player should be on. Players do it. Coaches say the same thing. Fans and media. But you got to take somebody off. Thank you guys for owning.
By the way, I loved what Van Gundy had to say because he was
Correct.
talking about like guys like Lou Williams, the people who actually tweeted about it, and he said he wants to see players tweet, "I should have been in it. So and so should not have been." That would be an amazing moment on social media.
You know,
if we
it'd be
get to that
amazing.
point.
It'd be amazing if a teammate or a coach came out and said, "Yeah, you know what, my teammate, he shouldn't have made it." You know,
like Russell said.
Like, yeah, that's not exactly going out on a limb.
Hey, Paul.
Because I'm afraid of what would have happened if Kevin Love didn't make what the Cavs would have said about that.
Absolutely.
Thank goodness he made it.
Can we flash our mock drafts up there again?
Well, this will really be taking people behind the curtain because don't think the players aren't telling their
Of course.
family, their friends, and their agents
Gotta vote.
the player that they should have their spot. They're just not saying it
Who
publicly.
do you think is most talked about?
I'm not ignoring
Like, who
anything
you think
because
on
we
this-
look good. We look good.
Like, think about all the All-Stars reserve. Let's just say the reserves. Who's the one guy that you say that players who didn't make it are saying that guy shouldn't be on there instead of me? Who is that guy?
Al Horford.
Al Horford.
It is
on the
interesting
East.
that-
What about the West?
You know, Russ threw a little shade at Damian Lillard.
He did.
Basically said that he campaigned a little bit too much to get the spot. Now, I think Damian Lillard's one of the best players in
I
the
do
league,
too,
but-
and I think he is
I
suffers
think
from
all
Western
the players
Conference.
on are deserving. It's just tough. I just say you add another roster spot.
No.
No.
Why not?
Do you know what I
not?
say you do?
But why
is,
not?
This is what you do. Since you're all drafting anyways, you take them from both conferences. It doesn't have to be even. That's what I say, but no one's listening.